Time to give it to ya. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's happening, my good people? How are you guys doing out here in the social media world? Y'all know who it is, right? It's me, your homegirl Ladosha, right? AKA Key Lolo, coming to you what I call this live and direct. That's right here in Cleveland, Ohio, nestled in my salon office, where it's a little chilly, but it's not too cold. And my co-host, my ace coon, boom, that's right. My unapologetically brilliant co-host, the one and only, the illustrious Cheryl Morrow. Cheryl, tell them where you represent, where you at, baby, baby.
And that's Southern Cal, SoCal, as I would call it, Soul Cal.
So, I call it so Cal. Gotta get your attitude on, like, so Carol. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right,
Nobody
right.
care that it's so. We see the sun shining back there. I have a ring light to put the sun in my face and make my Mary Kay makeup look good, and my 99-cent lipstick. So I got the fake. I got the ring light jumping off for us. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful day. Today's topic, I'm really, really, really excited to be talking about it. If this is your first time, checking out our podcast, we welcome you. The name of our podcast, it is affectionately called The Dumbest Shit That People Say About Black Hair. And we just have one goal here. And one goal is to unify, unite us with the right information. That's
Absolutely.
all we're trying to do here, is to unite all of us, because all of this divisiveness and craziness, it's got folks out here wasting money, wasting time, getting frustrated. We're getting caught up in the wrong thing. So our goals are really to address some of this stuff. Now, when we say dumb shit, y'all know we just playing with y'all, right? Okay, so don't be scared to bring y'all dumb shit to the top, to the table, because I brings all of mine. Okay, Cheryl, she when we go live, y'all know what Cheryl say. Kilo long, what we talking about today? Cheryl ain't got time for my nonsense. Okay, that's how it goes down. Okay, Cheryl is always on her A game. And I think this is really important that we talk about this, because do you know how many people want to be an expert when it comes to Afro hair and textured hair? And I learned this from Stefano. If you're from Cleveland and you're a hairstylist, then you would know who Stefano is. But he is one of Cleveland's legendary premier hair designers. And one thing Stefano taught me was stay ready, ain't got to get ready. And
That's
he
right.
told me that in Cleveland, that there used to be these hair battles, and they would go into a salon and say, like, I challenge you that I could curl his hair in like 5 minutes, and they would just, like, a hair battle, like right
Battle it
there
out.
on the spot. And so, to anybody out here who is aspiring to become an expert in their field, you want to, really aspire to be unapologetically brilliant like Cheryl. Because whatever topic I bring her, she'd be like, come on, Kilo Low. No, girl. I'm ready. I'm ready. You ain't gonna catch her sweating. She ain't going to look for that. Remember that? What was that deodorant? Was it Secret?
It was
Never let them
secret.
see. Never let them see you
See you
sweat. You know
sweat.
what I'm saying? So Cheryl's not gonna let. We're not gonna see Cheryl sweat, because she's very, very, vested, and she's also very committed, and to making sure that we're all unified. With the right information, because there's an attempt to divide us racially, for sure, right? There's definitely an attempt to divide us culturally, definitely for sure. And professionally, they are really trying to divide us, which is why we're going to be hosting our very first Afro Hair Science Educational Summit coming up this summer. I know you guys are like, well, what's going down? We're still working it out, but I'm putting it out there at the end of all our videos. We are going to host this Afro Hair Science Summit. This is not for the faint at heart. This is going to be for people who really want to equip themselves with the knowledge to empower themselves to speak, accurately, and in ways that you can help your people from behind the chair with the intent, to generate more income, more confidence, and of course, overall, just happiness in what you do. So that's what the Afro Hair Science Educational Summit is all about. So just stay right here, on our YouTube channel as you hit that thumbs up button and you subscribe to us. If you are a licensed professional, go ahead on and get your peeps and like, y'all, we need to be watching this live because these two young ladies, they are about to really, unleash some unprecedented information about Afro texture hair that nobody knows, not even Key Lolo. So when we have the Afro Hair Science Summit, I'm going to be in the class with you guys because I don't know a lot of this stuff either. So Cheryl is definitely going to kick us off. We're not saying that Cheryl, because I know what somebody's saying, Cheryl don't know everything. She does. But you know what? We're going to get it started with Cheryl because of her dad's, contributions to the industry and the wealth of time, and money and brain power that she and her dad have invested into this very much overlooked discipline. So we're very excited to bring this to you guys. So speaking of something that's exciting, I go on Google to see what the current event is. And you want to know what popped up on Google today? Now, you guys are going to love this one, okay? What popped up on Google is Tracy Ellis Ross has created her very own blow dryer. And so I find this very interesting because the topic today is all about 400 years without a comb. And so we got these, various combs up in here that you guys can. I just brought a couple of combs. No, nothing, So we're going to be talking about 400 years without a comb. And so, bringing technology to the world of hair, is that Afrofuturism as we, a segue into this topic? Is that the future of Afro hair? Is it technology? And not that blow drying is new, but she is, embarking upon something beyond hair care products, and she's moved into tool making or branding or whatever you want to. I don't know that she made it. It didn't say that, but anywho, so let's rock with this technology because the comb is how all of this technology got started. So, is the future of Afro hair care? Is it in technology? Is it in hair care? Products with just nature. Where are we going to be? What do you see? The future, because this is something that people really want to know.
Mm-hmm. Let me be um, um, clear about something. I would like that future to be from within the industry itself, and um, just my own personal feeling. How you told me because I did not know, I wasn't aware, but I would have preferred her to perfect the soft good before we got into hardware. But I do know that there is a money driven wave in order to take advantage of what we call technology. I think there's enough technology in the history and what we've done already and to perfect that. But I don't really understand why the industry in and of itself doesn't bring cosmetologists into the technology equation. They just go get random people who don't know anything about blow drying to create a blow dryer. So that's a little troubling to me. Um, and the Afro future to me is quite wide, but is quite wide of doing something, because that is Afrofuturism. If you go back and get something that can be improved, but I would like it to be improved from someone who actually is invested in the industry as a professional. And so it's kind of, yeah, okay. So she's coming out with her rendition or a blow dryer technology that someone else came on that came with that already had technology and just putting her name on it. Um, so the Afrofuture, in my regard, is to get the profession in and of itself and to um, go forward and beyond that we've gone in our history. Afrofuturism is a past historic energy moving forward and to come back around and improve what has already been done. Nothing's new under the sun. So, but with that regard, I would like to see it bend towards the profession itself and not.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
that's very interesting
Mhm,
because Afrofuturism has that element, and then correct me if I'm wrong, of the
mhm,
Sankofa-ish, where you're going back to
mhm,
bring it forward. And so
mhm,
I did not know that about Afrofuturism. But expand a little bit because we do have a lot of cosmetologists in the chat. Speaking of cosmetologists in the chat, I would like to send a super duper shout out to Miss Joanne. I did not get her last name, I'm sorry, but I met her at the
mhm,
Sheets gas station in Streetsboro, of all places, okay? Streetsboro is a little small, a little small town that sits outside of Cleveland. And so I went to have lunch with my mentor, one of my good friends. I was going to call her mentor, my good friends, Dr. Leah Love. And so I was in the gas station in the store, getting a little bootleg coffee. And the lady was like, Key Lolo? And I'm like, and she said, I came across you guys. She's a cosmetology teacher. And so she retired, she said. And she came across us on YouTube by accident. And she said, and she watched us. So there are people in the chat who don't always drop by to say hi. So what's up, Paul Samuels? Welcome, welcome, welcome. And so to all the cosmetologist teachers who may accidentally drop by, what's up? How y'all doing? So thank you, Miss Joanne. She recognized that she loves your information, and she feels like she wishes that she had someone like you to teach more about Afro hair. And she said she was in cosmetology school many moons ago. So I don't know how many moons those were. So hello, and so I hope you're watching. So I told her I was going to give her a shout out. So what's up? Another shout out, and this is to another cosmetology teacher, and this one actually has a gift for you. Yeah, so what's up, Denise? I hope you in the chat if you're watching this post live. So she is the cosmetology teacher at Shaw. Well, actually, she heads up the cosmetology program at Shaw High School, and so she also has a dynamic T-shirt making business, and so she made this special T-shirt. She notices you in the blue all the time, so it says "Help change the narrative." And it's some very fancy material, and she definitely considers you one of the sisters. So this I have to mail this off to you. Y'all know I'm ghetto. Y'all know what I want to do, right? So I want to put it up. So this is from Denise West, and she's a cosmetology teacher. I mean, I'm sorry, I keep saying teacher. Well, she does teach, but she's in a new capacity at Shaw High School. And so, Cheryl, you are loved, okay? Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm telling you. So, Cheryl, this is, I mean, I feel good that we are being supported by people in our
mhm,
own industry. And so and this is why I'm starting this off with and this is not to knock Tracy Ellis Ross. So let's, because people be in the chat, can we get some volume on my mic? Okay, how's that? Is that a little bit better? Okay, Paul, let me know how that is. Okay, and this is why we started. This is no knock. I'm sorry. This is no knock on Tracy Ellis Ross. Let me just make this abundantly clear. But
mhm,
Cheryl is saying that for us licensed professionals, these are some of the things that we too can be doing to broaden our scope of practice from beyond the chair. hair is getting into tool design and partnering with companies. So a lot of people are aspiring to be cosmetology instructors. I see you, Ebony, in the chat. A lot of people, they want to be influencers and all of this good stuff. But it's really, really, really important that we equip ourselves with a lot of the right information, because I don't know if you know this, but in my meeting on Sunday, the person, Dr. Love, who I met with, that's her name for real, Dr. Love, she was telling me that the Morphe Brush Company closed down its U.S., what do you want to call it,
Manufacturing.
operations, right?
Mhm.
And the rumor mill is that an influencer had something to do with that via the wrong information. And so, guys, listen, we can't microwave everything. Please don't take the content in any of our lives and try to use it to cookie cut, circumvent, go around real education. So, and I don't know that that's true. Okay, so please don't correct me. Don't quote me on that. But I do know that that has happened with some companies, and I see it right now with Miele Organics, where a white girl. Everybody's upset that a white girl is supporting Miele Organics, which that's kind of crazy. But we have to understand. The greater responsibility. So, Cheryl, speak to the importance of education as we go right into the comb. I'm going to play a video about the comb and just talk about why we, as licensed barbers, cosmetologists, braiders, to those braiders who have to have education, why is this important, and the dangers of pretending like you know something, or taking excerpts from these lives and trying to, fluff yourself up and you really don't know, because that's dangerous.
Mhm. Mhm. I think that just in the last 21, 22 years, um, especially our industry, cosmetology has been individualized. It's been individuated. It's been based on the individual and not the healthy structure of the industrial complex. The industrial complex needs smart people and experts and professionals. The problem is that if the industry does not stay current, if the individuals themselves don't pour into the industry itself, well, then the industry becomes fragmented. It becomes, and then everyone becomes um, self interest, and no one is pouring into they have a principle in the casino gambling world: the house never loses, and the house must be maintained. We must understand that everyone's not a winner but the house. That's what keeps people coming. That's what makes that big, lottery wins and big jackpots. That's what makes them available, because the house never loses. And so we have to understand that the industry can pay off. It can render lots of opportunities, like design, like cosmetic couture, like custom blending. It can elevation, but it must have a process of elevation for its own professionals first. So the industry stays and maintains its vitality. That's why it maintains its innovation and its leadership. So it can have plenty of students and new blood and new fresh geniuses and experts. Like you said, I'm not the smartest knife in the drawer. I don't decide, but I am the hardest study. And I've had a background that has allowed me to see things from different perspectives. But I also respect knowledge and wisdom, and so and the history, and to make sure that we get dates and times, stats, and things correct, so we can make sure that we have the right information. And the right information also makes sure that the industry maintains its leadership. So that's why it's important.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right, guys. So if you're really thinking about microwaving that education, listen, get some discipline, get the education. I know for me, becoming a master colorist, that was 10 years of hard. Now,
Yeah.
some people are going to get it faster. That we're not talking about that, but you definitely need to get the education because, like she said, it's really it boosts the industry from within, and the
Mhm.
beauty industry. We need some smart people like Dr. Willie Morrow. So we're going to start this off. This podcast is all about 400 years without a comb. So 400 years without a comb has two contexts. You got literally a nation of people who were 400 years without a comb. And then you have the love letter of 400 years without a comb that your father wrote to Black America. This is what we call truly poetic justice. The book. I'm going to show you the book in case you guys are wondering. Let me just pull this up here. Excuse me. Let me go up here. So people might be wondering, what is this book? Now, I'm going to show you the book. Now, I was doing research for my book, What They Don't Tell You at the Hair Salon, and I could not afford the book, okay? So I'm going to show you what the book is going for. Now, these are private sellers, okay? So here is the book, 400 Years Without a Comb. And I'm gonna move over this way. And so there are two versions of this book, correct? So here is a private
Three.
seller, three versions. So here is a private seller of this book, selling this book at $300. So this is going to show you the value of knowledge that this private owner, what they feel about Dr. Willie Morrow. And I wanted to get the book because that book has information that nobody really has. That's really, kicking it out like Dr. Morrow. So today we are all going to be blessed with a little glimpse inside of 400 years without a comb. And so we hear so many, everybody swears they've got this comb thing down, to a science. And so, of course, there are many school of thoughts. So today we're going to give it to you from the person who actually brought it to America in its modern day usage as we know it. But what I'm going to do, Cheryl, is I'm going to start off with a clip of what most of us are being taught about combs. Okay, so let's get ready. Now, remember, guys, this is interactive. Don't just sit here. Feel free to drop those questions in the chat. I've got some combs to give away myself, but you have to live in the United States so I can mail you your free comb. So let me play that first clip. And this one is a little bit about the history of combs. And this is coming from a YouTuber. Okay, here we go.
Primitive copies of combs have been found throughout history, as early as 5500 BC. According to the researchers, the first combs were made of wood, ivory, and fish bones. These primitive items were initially used to remove insects, lice, and dirt from the head.
Okay, so let me move that picture out the way. So we're going to hop right into what do we know about combs starting in Africa. Now, remember, guys, we're not saying everything started in Africa because every culture has their own narrative. But this podcast is Black folk. So we're coming from an African perspective. So we want to make sure we put that out there. So let's start off with what we know about combs. And what we are all pretty much taught is that combs are primarily instruments that we use to clean our hair, number one, and then number two, to groom and adorn and decorate. So what is your take on that historical reference? And you guys let me know, Cheryl, know if you have been taught that narrative too about combs, that they're primarily to clean your hair, groom and adorn and decorate. So what do you say about that narrative, about the history of combs?
Whew. Well, let me just say this. I'm going to say everybody's knowledge base starts somewhere. And every expert, every professional, if you are married and committed and devoted to your industry, you always find yourself landing somewhere first. And it doesn't mean that that's where you'll end up. And what I would like to say about experts, if they're really truly an expert of their particular subject or in their field, they don't necessarily know all the answers. But what they do, they know what questions to ask when they don't know something. And they are closer to the answer than most regular people who have not studied the subject matter for long. And if they don't have any information, they know where to look, and and they have a really tight process of elimination of what may not have sound information versus what may be chronologically correct or statistically or culturally correct. And the Afro comb, in my recent research, is not a beauty implement, but that's a whole another rabbit hole in which a new piece that I'm working with Ladosha called Afrophilia. It is a lot of new discovery there. But listen to what that YouTuber in that YouTube video was about. And make sure you also that we don't have the time periods right, but in the crust of Africa, in the cradle of Africa, the combs were not really meant for grooming, so to speak, but our connection with combs is energy. It's a talisman. So it embodies the spirit of the person who owns it. But also hygiene, as you heard in the YouTube video, he is correct. For other cultures, combs may be hygienic. And like I tell you, that beauty in Europe stems from hygiene, not glory and adornment and worship and self-image and self-worth. That is not Europe's history in connection with beauty. It was a utility, a total hygienic tool to get rid of certain body problems in hygiene and cleanliness. But Africa,
Interject right here? So, what's up, Sophia? We miss you, Broski. So let me just interject. So, are you saying that in our when we read stuff or we research, are we taking other people's history and we're placing it on top of another people's history? So when you say that the comb is from the Europeans' position, it was adornment and beautification, but from the African culture's perspective, it was not limited to its primary
right,
purpose. Wow.
right. You have
SHIT.
right when you look at the African comb, and you look at the design, and you look at certain other, and you compare them to other implants, and the design in which what they juxtapose and what they put the images in the shapes. Okay, because first of all, wood was chosen because wood is an insulator. Doesn't let energy, it entraps the charge that you charge the energy. You charge it with love, it represents love. And putting it in the apex, okay, of the head means that it is adorning that energy into your body, into your image, into your value system, into your whole field, your energy field. You're called your aura. And there is a such thing as Africa is very means that clean your energy. Your hair holds energy. But anyway, so the comb is taken to lots of energetic spirit energy. In Europe, it is hygiene. It is a totally different connection. Just to go to show you now that in my presentation in that particular piece, I explain that. But just to we don't have a lot of time, but the even though the scripture is not found in the Bible, but it could have been translated or mistranslated when they say cleanliness is next to godliness. But energetically, that line makes sense, because cleaning energy is godliness. But when you have European cultures, cleanliness is just hygiene, and so it's a different relationship with beauty that the continent of Africa
Wow.
did not really
Yeah,
come in contact.
yeah. Now, I talked about this. We have, when you come to the Reverence Design Team Hair Salon, we do a consultation. We have people watch a video, and in the video that people watch, I should have brought it up, but I'll show. I'll have it, because we're probably going to have a part 2 to this. Um, we talk about that. You know, in Africa, that cleanliness was more like a divination, a divinity. You were, yourself. You were this divine, person. So we were the gods and the goddesses. You know what I'm saying? And of course, this is before the Amen, thing. But so that we can definitely find, records of that in certain parts of in African history, that cleaning was definitely a part of, respecting, the divine. But let's play. Here's a modern day school of thought that's taking place about what you just said. So this is another YouTuber, and her name is I forgot, it's something Bambi or something. So, but anywho, let me play for you what she has to say about hair and the energy. So you guys are gonna love this one. Get ready. Here we go. Let's see.
Or similar to like the pores on our skin. Okay, so our cuticles close and open. So when our hair is exposed to heat, like when we're in the sun, it opens up or expands, and we're able to get the light codes from the sun. We need the UVB, ultraviolet B sun rays in the tropics, between the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn. Okay,
what you talking about, Willie?
so when your hair is exposed to the cold or winter seasons, your cuticles close up. Okay, so you will want your cuticles to open up so you can receive the light. Okay,
The dumbest shit people say about black hair.
Okay, what y'all think about that? This is her name is Goddess Bambi, and she's right here. Stop that, McCall. I'm so this. You know what, McCall? You are our unofficial third member of our host. We got to make sure we bring you in. We've got your topic coming up. I think we're going to try to get her in before the month is out. But that's very interesting. So she has some of what you're saying. Now, I don't know what she's embellishing or not. I'm laughing with you, McCombs girl, because some of it has an element of embellishment, and then some of it has an element of truth. But can you just talk about, that's the 9 ether hair. So explain to us the new age thoughts around what you just shared with us about the comb and the, so on. So, and I'm not, listen here, Bambi, Goddess Bambi, we're going to help you out. Okay. So, and please follow her right here. She's on YouTube. So check her out. So here we go. What do you want me to play that again? You want to hear it again, or no, y'all don't want to hear that? Okay. You think you got it? Let me mute, McCall. Y'all get y'all, look, I got my notebook ready. Come on. I'm ready, sir. I'm taking notes. Here we go. What about the 9 ether and the sun and the Capricorn? And when it get cold, we have to go out and let our cuticles open up to take it in. Come on, talk, bring it in, bring it out, bring it in for us.
I think I was having this conversation with a natural hair care stylist, and they were talking about how, and he was a young man, and I wanted to ask him, since Black women are having a lot of relaxer issues and things of that nature, and what Black men are very vocal about what Black women should do. And so I just kindly asked him, I says, well, since most of you guys are natural, and I wanted to know, why aren't you sharing your messages that you're receiving? And because you're receiving messages all the time, because you guys are natural all the time. And we never have an answer for that. We don't know what messages we're having, that men are having versus relaxer women are having, or straight hair women are having. And I think that it would make a very good embellished story about Black people and our spirituality and divinity and hair and all of that wonderful things. But it's a dangerous conversation. It's a very dangerous conversation, because what happens is that you start also still, that to me is still a separatist conversation. That is not an inclusive conversation in dealing with what does Africa say about that particular conversation, not a westernized version of what we would like it to mean. And so Africa is very vocal and has very symbols. It has shapes and patterns, but we must study them from a very open, loving, caring spirit, not trying to soothe ourselves from very racist trauma. We can't deal with it from pain and strife. We have to be at peace and balance so we can pay attention to the physical things they did leave. They left clues. And so, in us as, scholars must talk that out. And so, and then too, we have to be a little scientifically logical. And, and I try to skate because, in class, people, I'm not very nice, and I try to be, but we don't have time to get this wrong anymore. And so, and I don't have time to lull you to sleep to make you feel better about just being, of a darker hue. We are more responsible, knowledge people because we are dark-skinned people. We are the first people. We have to be a lot more reverent to the whole humanity. We can't just recklessly just say things. And so that's my take on it, and that's how I teach it.
Oh, wow. Okay, we had some bots that came in the chat with some X-ray. Y'all listen here, bots. Don't come in here with y'all triple X because y'all want none of this X, okay? Yeah. So you're saying that this nine ether, all of these other modern day, the new word that they're using now is called woke. So a lot of these woke conversations has a undertone or element of separatist, and so this platform is Ubuntu, and that's why we said in the beginning that we are taking the information, and our goal is to really unify us. We have too much misinformation, and so we highlight you other school of thoughts because we can send out a lot of information that's actually incorrect. So what I'm going to do is play another clip of what I was doing. Let's just talk about Kilolo because Kilolo, I'll be doing some crazy stuff out here because, I'm reading the same books. You know what I'm saying? I'm reading the same stuff that she's reading a little bit, and it sounds you're right. It definitely soothes the soul. When you listen to the nine ether hair, it just makes you feel, so good. It really, really does. And nothing made me feel more good than the fist on the pick. If you guys grew up in the 70s, I'm going to tell you right now, if you did not have a couple of these in your back pocket, stuck in your hair, in your afro, and your two French braids or whatever. You put the tube top and roll your hair. Remember that, Cheryl? We used to roll our hair in the tube top. Y'all don't know nothing about rolling up your hair in that tube top. You know what I'm saying? I might bring that back. You would have this pick, stuck. And so this pick really meant a lot. And so when we talk about, being divisive and not unified, I got phone calls today. People saw the clip that I said about the pick. And so people are really ready to check you on the pick. And so this is something that I thought was definitely black. So I'm going to show you guys the clip of how Cheryl was so very with here. Let me just play the clip. Here you go, Cheryl. Here we go. Let me play it. Here we go, guys. Get ready. Oh shoot! Sorry, that was the wrong clip. Oh, I think this is it.
Or similar to like the pores on our.
Okay, whoops. I don't have it. I thought I had it. But this was a clip where I actually thought that the pick was actually, made for the Black Panthers. So let's talk about the fisted pick. And then we're going to move into 400 Years Without a Comb, the love letter to Black America. So what is this pick? What is this pick with the fist? Give us the history, because we see this. We've all seen the image with the picks in antiquity and the pick with the fist. And that I remember that was the conversation that we had initially, and you told me that's not our history. And guys, let me tell y'all, I was effed up, man. I was like, Cheryl, this for you, dog, because you ain't telling the truth. You done broke my feelings on this pick. Because I will admit, I've been one of those cosmetologists that said that this was our stuff. Okay, so talk about the fisted pick.
Well, most of our connection to world history, in a Western society, and the connection that Black people have in this country, we got a lot of left out, and we did get some, but the fist is not synonymous with Black people. The fist is a European. It's been used in Russia, it's been used in Romania, it's been used in Jewish culture, it's been used everywhere. By the time Mr. Carlos and Mr. Smith wore the black glove and the fist on the podium getting their medals at the Olympic 1968, there's a company that monopolized on it and then made it synonymous with put it on the comb. The problem is that Black people never manufactured the comb. The combs that were Black manufactured in 1964 is this comb here. Mr. Morrow did it maybe about 8 years before the commercial market, because you have to remember the Afro comb came 6 years, 7 years before the Afro natural hairstyle. They didn't come at the same time. Several years a gap. Okay, so the wooden comb was because Robert Bell brought one from Ghana to Mr. Morrow's barber shop in 1964. And so he manufactured them by himself. The commercial Afro comb, what you see in the stores, Mr. Morrow made sure that there was writing in his comb so you could identify who is making it. So you can spend your Afro dollars with a Black manufacturer of the Afro comb, which is a Afro version of his African homeland. That's why the United States is inside the Africa on his symbol, on his combs. But when you can tell Black people who didn't make combs. You can tell it's not a Black company, because once you take the comb out of the package, you don't know who made it. And that's by design, because they know that you probably would not buy a comb that was made by someone who was participating in your economic demise, which is called capitalism. And so those particular combs only represent solidarity. The fist is 100 years old. It's not just 1968. That was Europeans use the fist as a symbol of solidarity. So it's not just African in nature or Afro-American in nature. And so that is just some of the things that why some of the times that we don't have the economic success, the economic prosperity, the economic cash flow aggregated into our communities because we have the history wrong. And when we have the history wrong, we have behavior that is not in our best interest. And so we're buying things for sentimental reasons, but you're choking yourself economically. And that's why history is very important.
Now, now the thing about history, y'all know me. I got to get the ish started. Y'all better get ready, okay? So here's the thing about history that people will say. And then we're gonna go again into the 400 years without a comb is what we're talking about, and we're
Absolutely.
talking about it from two perspectives. So one is us being 400 years without a comb, literally, and you see what's
Yeah,
happening when we have the misinformation, and then we're gonna go again into the love letter portion of it. But here's the thing that people have to say about history, and y'all get ready, because I know I ain't the only one. Okay, people will say this to you, Cheryl,
mhm.
unapologetically brilliant. I don't want to hear that smack about history. What's this going to do for my pockets? How is history going to help me? How is your father's history and all these other people that, mass produce the pics and so on? What does history do for us in modern day times? Because the average person really feels like history it don't have no value. It's not helping me. What do we
Absolutely.
say? What do we say to people who's really upset when we keep talking about why we got to get that information?
Mhm. Well, history changes your behavior because you now know something different. And so now that you, as Maya Angelou would say, if you knew to do better, you do better. But when you know better, you do better. And so what happens is that if you keep buying a comb that is money is aggregated into another culture's children that's sending them to college decade after decade after decade after decade, but if you know that that particular company will not give you a red cent because, bouncing a dollar means that that particular person who you gave that precious, hardworking, aged, waged, earned dollar that you spent your time at work earning. But if you gave it to someone who's completely 3 to 7 to 8,000 miles away, who's making things, and just because it has a symbol that soothes your racial trauma, well, then it doesn't have anything to do with you. You're just buying symbolism. Buying symbolism has cost Black America billions. Just buying something that you think makes you temporarily may have some sort of pride. How is there pride in being broke? How is it pride in being impoverished?
But
And
wait a
then you,
minute, Cheryl. But we thought, come on, y'all, don't get quiet in the chat on me. But we really thought this was us. So how do we know
well, look at
when?
the cone. I just told you the reason why Africa always leaves clues. Why would a comb have symbols on it in the first place? Because those symbols are supposed to feed you, feed your spirit, nourish your selfhood, and infuse money and riches and commerce and energy, which is current. That's all currency is. That's all money is. But you're supposed to have symbols, and it's supposed to show you what you should be doing personally, spiritually, and culturally, and community. It's supposed to show you behavior patterns. So at the end of the day, when you charge that comb and that wood with your essence and your intentions and your energy and all of your power, well, guess what? That symbol has a fist on it, right? Okay. It's supposed to represent banding together, fighting. It's got a fist and a peace symbol at the same time. You know what I mean? You know, the
You
point of the matter is,
final, final.
you know, the comb is supposed to embody the riches for you. And that is what the symbol of the comb, because one of the things that Africa doesn't even have a word for comb. Not it, it has a word for
Okay,
beauty.
what you talking about, Willis? Come on, what? Come, you stop that. Now you hold on. Now wait a minute, Cheryl. Where my Africans at? Come on now. I know we got some Africans. When y'all come back in the chat, you know, embellish that. I know we got it. Hold on, y'all. Wait a minute. Tell us a little bit more. Don't leave us hanging. What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about?
Well, if you do the etymology on comb is not a proper name. Comb is a verb, because Africa meant it for it to be a verb. It's a function, not a thing. But once again, here we are in the Western world where things are objects. So there's a principle of the comb. Why the comb? The relationship with the comb. It's the meaning behind it. It's the essence. It's what it means to us. What it represents. It represents a function. And so in the Greek, to the earliest Western kind of language, which is Greek, or Latin, it means combining. And you just shorten it. It's called comb. Comb blends. To comb something means blend. It's a function. And so in Africa, it's a function. What are you doing? You're cleansing your aura, your essence, and you're embodying that particular emblem, that talisman. It holds spirit. It's an embodiment. So the relationship means just more than just, you're trying to look good to go out of the door so you can go to white man's job. It just means more than that. It doesn't mean what it means to Europe. Europe means hygiene, to be presentable, to be rid of nuisance and pathogens. It's a different relationship that we have, and there's more of a meaning. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I got you. So I know the next question is, before we go right into, we're gonna wind this up. So does that mean she dropping it? We like you dropping bombs like Hiroshima. You see McCall's girl? McCall, I'm over here like, hot damn, oh, here we go again. You know what I'm saying? My MC Light voice. So does that mean that the hair shouldn't be combed? Is that another? No.
But most times when you see native cultures that are really not really westernized, the fingers in touching it and the comb is laid in the vicinity of the aura, which is our net, our hair. It's a keeper of the energy. It's not just to come over here and let me comb your hair because it's nappy. It doesn't have that angst on it. It don't have all of that westernized black folks. You don't look proper and get your naps in the kitchen. It don't have all that angst on it. This is a glorifying process, a beauty connection and relationship axiology. This is not an object. Be appropriate so somebody won't talk about you, and look presentable and get yourself together. This is not. That is a Western European connection to beauty. It's status, it's rank, it's something else that is not involved into the commune with the nectar and the nature of who you are in your relationship with your environment. That is what, in the celestial environment, the terrestrial environment, that is what the African is talking about. How is your aura and your balance, and how are you seeing yourself? The symbols of why the most symbols on the combs are female. And that is because that is an embodiment of the essence of who you are. And that is what that relationship, and most of the other combs were just one point. So you just stick it out to fluff up, and that fluffing up is to clean and to get your energy. It's just a totally different, and we have to learn it. And that's one of the reasons why I'm writing the book. It's love. It's a love with one's self. And that is the reason for these wonderful implements. That's why they're so artistic and gorgeous and beautiful, because that's the point. Wow. That's the point. You're muted.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? Yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. I mean, it really is. I'm like McCombs girl. You dropped the bomb on me. Come on, y'all, baby, hit it, y'all. You dropped the bomb
Oh,
on
yeah.
me. I can feel y'all, baby. I was on foolish, didn't know what I was doing. Hey, I don't know what he was saying. Okay. But speaking of love, as we wrap this up, here is your dad's pick when we a comb attachment, okay? And so here we can see Willie Morrow's. I feel like anybody feel like you can feel Dr. Morrow's like energy in this chat right now because I'm feeling it for real. But this is your dad's. He made this. He designed this
Mhm.
with his hands, and
Absolutely.
and this was his love to us. So talk to us, and I'm just gonna put his the picture of his book up, and
Mhm.
about his love letter to
Mhm.
us about 400 years without a comb. Why such a that's a very powerful title. So what was his love letter to
Mhm.
us
Mhm.
from this book in 400 years without a comb?
Mhm. You can take a look at the cover, um, and he wanted you to get into the mindset and the enormous sacrifice and the things that you left at home. And in the presentation, I guess you can see it on YouTube, it's been copied so many times. My mom is singing a song, You Left Your Comb at Home. And it's not the fact that you left an important beauty tool and you didn't travel to the Western world, without a toiletry bag, and you didn't forgot your comb. What it's saying is that 400 years without a map to an Afrophilia, natural love for yourself. Because when you lose that or you leave it somewhere, you are susceptible to all types of reprogramming. And the wonderful thing about the essence of the comb, it was designed to program your image and your thoughts and your intentions and what you wanted to see, how you loved yourself and how you felt about yourself, because only you can do that to even take time to even carve one. It's a very slow process. There's a piece in the 40 Years Without a Comb Museum collection where Albert Fennell, the great artist Albert Fennell, does a three-piece time capsule kind of art piece, right? And he starts out with this young man carving with this block of wood, and he's approximately about 14. By the time he gets through this whole beautiful picture of art piece that Albert Fennell created, he was at least 21 when he finished, because that's how long he wanted to um, build this and make this and carve this comb, because he was carving his life into it. And it's the essence. 400 years without a comb is not about the fact that you didn't pack a toiletry bag and you left your comb at home. You left your essence, your spirit, the embodiment, a vibration of who you were to become somebody else. For 400 years, you're somebody else, and how you needed to reach back, like they call it in Greece, the Ouroboros, the energy, the coiled one reaches back unto itself to get its selfhood. That's the story of what 400 Years Without a Comb is. And then, of course, physically, with his hand, he wanted you to reunite with the emblem, not just the physical apparatus, but what the relationship with the apparatus means. And that, in essence, is yourself, who you are in terms of your vibration. Who are you intending to come and bring your story, your history, your image, your self worth, your self value, your selfhood, your self advocacy reunite with it in the embodiment of this shape, not the fact that you needed to comb your hair. And that's when we got into, on the plantation, into negativity. We got into being mean to ourselves, like call ourselves names. And these are things that was just part and parcel of the misery and the sacrifice you gave up to come to a world that did not love you. And so that comb embodies that love story of that return and reunion.
Boy, I don't know about y'all, but I need some tissue. Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm really serious. That I tell you, man. Ignorance is, man, it's bliss.
Yes.
And for me to hear that, it's just it leaves me speechless. Because we really it's like Ray Hagen's. He was he's a former
Yes, absolutely.
preacher,
Yes.
and he talks about, he has this saying, and the saying is deactivate the Willie Lynch chip. And you guys may hear me jokingly say that, but that was a powerful deactivation. Nothing wrong, and I'm not taking away from looking attractive, but boy, looking attractive has now become like so minuscule. It don't even mean the same thing anymore. And not that beauty doesn't have its place in appearance with flowers and babies and arts, and because it definitely does, and hair. I'm not saying that, but you have just really, for me, that is just very, 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 very powerful, that we did not know this. And what made your dad want to go to Africa and bring this back to us in a love story? Why didn't he shame us? Why did he pick the love route? Why did he do it this way?
He was a country boy, raised on a plantation, and saw his parents, their own sacrifice. The sacrifice was great. And, just risking the never ending. What if we would have never come back full circle? What if we never would have met it, but we were supposed to meet it through Willie Morrow? We were supposed to be reunited to the point where Asia respected it. Asia loved it and adored it. Europe loved it and adored it. South America and Latin America, Africa adored it. But I think one of the things that the separation, just like being separated from your mother or separated from a loving parent, you lose your way. But when you come back to it, and it comes back to you, because one of the beautiful stories about it is that what we were looking for was looking for us too. And so, and that's why traveling back, with that wonderful friend of his, Robert Bell, because he had heard his barber talk about Afro combs, and he was like, so when he went to Ghana, he was like, let me pick up this comb for this brother, because he's remembering something he's never seen, but he's heard about it, and it's in his spirit. And see, and that's what the symbol of the comb is. It's the embodiment. It's the memory. It's the intuitive nature that's created in it that's the beauty of it. Not the fact it's in our nature we spent 200,000 years observing nature. So it's our nature to want to put on mascara and makeup and dye our hair and swoop it over and straighten it and coil it and twist it and do all types of things to it. That's in our nature to do, because we've seen nature and its colors and the things that it does, miraculous things. But the relationship to what it means to have selfhood, I think, is embodied into the wood, embodied into the fibers of the wood and the shapes that it takes, that and the patterns we've placed on it from our imagination and put on the inside of the wood and the comb. It is saying that how important to embody your own essence. And so that is, he's always talked about curly hair. He would see curly hair on a person, I mean, and literally salivate. That's just how much he was packed. And so he's the vessel. He was the vessel. So and he took advantage of it. He took advantage of it, and he was purpose, and he stayed in his lane, and he knew it. I got to get my people to fall back in love with themselves, and that was his mission.
Wow. All I can say is wow. Kofi and the chat, we all having church. We up here. We like, wow, we rocking back and forth. That's the power of love. Hate to get the Huey Lewis song, but that is the power of love. We have a comment I had to put up. Kofi Pasa said, "I really need that book, Cheryl, but that
Got it.
$300."
It looks
Listen here.
350. It
Yeah,
looks
350.
350.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. I need some glasses here. Let me put some of these on. Hold on. Let me see what that say. Hold on. Oh, gee. Oh, holy smokes and gee whiz. Yeah. 350.
We
For
will make
some.
we will make give those to Ladosha to have those available, because one of the things that I will always say that that is why we must understand that Africa even gave us the comb so we can make money on the comb, because it's our inheritance. We can't let China and Mexico make the comb, y'all, and fool us with the symbolism. It's our inheritance. We gave it away. We can't do that. You can't just you can't buy something that has no life force in it. It just has commerce in it. That is not our energy. It's not, capitalism is not our energy. But if we wanted to do it, we should at least do it in a way that allows us to produce it, design it, create it. Comb making is tens of thousands of years old. It's ours. But the number one manufacturers of them in the Western world, you guys buy them. I mean, and we can have a moment of shame about that shit, but we can get it together. But that's why I got it tattooed on my arm. This is the embodiment of our spirit. So we should be the first ones to eat off of the essence of what it means in the capitalist society, in the capitalist, commerce markets. We need to control it. And that's one of the programs I said, we have a program called My Comb Black Owned. And it is an economic, because I can make them with the Black presence and spirit in it. I can make them for pennies. So I can give them away to my people. They can sell them, and we can make money and correct our buying habits. And what a perfect implement to correct our buying habits and our self-love and selfhood is through a 10,000-year-old art form, and something that was brought back by a Black man, and not just embellish the story so we can, be tricked and correct our buying behavior.
Wow. Absolutely. I'm with you, Andrea. Absolutely beautiful. Y'all see she done brought me to tears. I'm over here, Tito. But no, it moved me that much. I'm with you, Mr. Paul Samuels. He says the title of the program has sparked his interest. He just read an article on the history of Afro picks and how combs served as a status symbol in many African societies. Can you speak to that? And we know Africa is not a monolith. So just a little bit more, to Paul Samuel's point on the various meanings and all of that in various places throughout Africa.
I think status, as you and I know it in a Western hierarchy, is not quite the way Africa in cultures and tribal cultures see it. We get it misconstrued just by, we think it's power. But the embodiment of the comb was and the carving of it, the skill of it, like the African drum, anyone could learn it. And though there is some initiation and rituals and cultural significance that of who gets to, but it's earned. It means one to apply themselves. It was more of not just a class system. That's how we get introduced to rank and status. It's not more, it is what you pour into yourself and the importance in what you do for your community that gives you this grand status. It just comes in the form of, once again, our axiology is relationship based, not object based, not dichotomous logic. We don't either or and one above, white or black or gray. We don't, it's not in our cultural natures to do it. Though we love status. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is it's earned differently to where you don't have to minimize yourself. One person's better than the other. It's almost like I told my son when he was dating a really smart girl at Columbia University, and I was really getting on him. And he said, well, you think, the girl's better than me? I says, no, she's not better than you. She's doing better than you. That's an African concept. It's what you put into it. And from where you start from birth and what gifts God gave you, what you should be doing with those. And if you are not doing what you're supposed to be doing with it, that is the status and rank, much more of a relationship, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. We brought the table, and like McComb's girl said, we shouldn't have to ask for a seat. But if we give this stuff away, because this makes us feel good and feel black and feel proud, and somebody's going to take that and exploit it, then we are, and in essence, McComb's girl, we are asking for a seat. And so what we're saying today, as we wrap this up, is that we don't have to ask for a seat. What's the use of coming to the table if you got to ask for a seat? After all, what's a table without a seat at it? And so we hope that you can see that typically when you put tables together and you sit them, people are going to come around the table. They're going to come together and for some unified purpose or reason. And that is what this podcast is all about. It's everybody let's come to the table. Like you said, McComb's girl, you don't have to ask for a seat at the table of the dumbest shit that people say about black hair, because we're all welcomed here. But in the spirit of the comb and ownership to it, we should take Cheryl up on her offer. I mean, she's saying that she can get us some combs, and we could get us a little, instead of dumb shit, smart shit people say about combs. And we could get us some combs, and the combs have the right love built into them, the purpose. So I'm going to look into some combs myself, and we hope that you guys have truly, truly enjoyed this podcast. I knew you was coming through, Andrea, already. Andrea, like, look, hold on, Cheryl, wait a minute. Just because I knew, I keep telling y'all think I'll be lying, right? I keep telling y'all, me and Cheryl don't plan this because I knew that type of topic would come up. Here you go, Andrea. I knew you was coming with the Benjamins. I already knew. Well, this ain't Benjamins. Who is this? Jefferson? I don't like that MF. Anywho, so we need to go ahead on. We need to do that. But someone also put something in the chat, and I'm going to come back up because this is a segue into our topic here. This is from next week. We're going to continue with part 2 of 400 Years Without a Comb when we talk about that Crown Act, the civil rights. Black history is coming upon us. So remember, Cheryl was talking about the purpose of the comb is not necessarily to make us look good, all right? But it's that embodiment of feeling good of what we've done with the comb. It's not just the result of looking looking good, but that Crown Act. So we got Black History coming up next month, and we know our famous leader, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, and his civil rights. We want to talk about is how you wear your hair. Is that a civil right? And that's going to be a part two, into 400 years without a comb. And we're just going to kind of segue into your statement of that comb, of your father's love letter, about what we left behind and what we were, to bring forward here, in our new space and new place, as citizens of this country called America. So we're going to talk about this topic. Is going to get a little bit deep. Kofi, I'm going to make sure that you and Cheryl connect. If they want this book, because people do want the book. Do we have a way that people can get the book? I know that $350. That's a
But
bit.
this is the challenge, okay? And this is what happens when you have inheritance, okay? I control the manuscript. So what I'm going to do is challenge you. So Mr. Kofi, you can be a distributor in your neck of the woods, and Ms. Ladosha can too, because we control it. We own it. We don't ask. McComb's girl just said, we don't ask. We're not guests here. We're not guests in America. We don't have to ask to sit down. This is something that Mr. Morrow has already pulled. He did the heavy lifting. Now his descendants reap. That's what we do. He did the sow, we reap. We're heirs. That's what we do. But we must know the value of what we have. That's the point. So now at the end of the day, you just make a phone call. This is what we do. It's already copywritten. We own it. Our job
Wow.
now is to what? Reap and enrich. Reap and enrich. That's our job. Got it?
Wow. Wow. Y'all hear that? Legacy. What? Legacy.
There you go.
Wow. That's absolutely how they said, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready, but I am. I'm very interested in having those books to sell. I'm definitely going to do my due diligence. Kofi has his own publishing company. It's called Same Tree, Different Branch. So I know Kofi is that he's just been invited to do some speaking, and so he has a book that's coming out. So he also wants us to come onto his Kofi Pie Side TV. So you guys just stay here and rock with us. We will be back next week with McComb's girl. McComb, I just threw you in because we're going to be bringing you into the chat with your topic that you wanted to talk about. And so we're very, very excited that you guys are always joining us every Monday here at 6 o'clock. So next week we're going to be talking about is how we wear our hair, or we can't wear our hair. This whole Crown Act issues. Piggybacking off of 400 years without a comb, is this a civil rights issue of how we can or cannot wear our hair? So Cheryl's going to give us her opinion about that. And so you guys know what we say when we're always signing out. We're always talking about a whole lot of peace. Definitely a whole lot of love, and for sure a whole lot of hair. Paul, it was nice to see you in the chat. And if you ain't got none of that, we say don't worry about it. Just rub your beautiful bald head, because bald heads are beautiful too, and so are you. That's right. Deuces, says McComb girls. Deuces. Thanks, guys. We love you so much.